I'm trying to just see like the questions they put on this piece. That's what I'm doing right here. Man, what's up, y'all?
Hey, y'all.
Man, this is dating in quarantine. No, not dating. Married in quarantine.
Married in quarantine.
Because we're married. We're not dating. We're married. We're married. So what's up, y'all? Man, this is date night. We all supposed to be in the house. If we ain't in the house, where we at? Ain't got nowhere to go. Restaurants in Georgia open up on Monday.
I ain't going.
I ain't going either. But they're gonna be open and whoop-de-doo for that. But nonetheless, man, we married in quarantine. This is date night. My name is Cornelius Lindsey.
And my name is Heather Lindsey. And we are so honored that you decided to spend your Friday night with us. Because what else are you gonna do if you are not an essential employee? You're at the house.
We at the house.
So come hang out with us.
And here's the cool thing. So we have a good time tonight. Listen, this is gonna be very chill. Very peaceful. We're gonna have fun. We're actually recording this, so we might even put this as a podcast. This might be one of our podcasts. You gotta make sure you speak into that microphone. We might even put this as one of the podcasts. If you don't know, we have our own podcast called Life with the Lindseys. Absolutely amazing. Make sure you check it out. We had a podcast episode to go out today. We talked about parenting
and identity.
Last week I think we did like parenting, how we parent, and we talked about discipline.
Yeah. The week before.
And all that kind of stuff.
It's so good. Yeah, y'all got to listen to it.
Yeah. We talked about like dating before that. But anyway. We talking about married and quarantine. So we got some stuff we just want to kind of talk about. We're going to kind of have the same format we use. We do our podcast. My wife. Now, here's the thing. My wife and I, we're completely different. Completely. So I don't know like which one of the two of you is like the ratchet one. That's me. I'm that guy. Like who's like the person who's like, you know, by the book, rule oriented.
Structure.
I gotta have structure.
But I'm still adventurous and fun. I'm very fun. I
mean, you are.
Oh,
you're I'm not saying you're not. You're fun.
We have a different definition of what fun is.
So what's my definition of fun?
Hood. Ratchet.
It's not. No.
Let's talk about the song you were listening to this morning as we were getting dressed. Usually my husband plays like old gospel music in the morning or, you know, something like that. And then I heard the B word and I was like, what's happening? I thought it was Christian rap.
Hold on. Let me.
I thought it was Christian rap.
Let me talk to you for a second, okay? I didn't know that. Whatever it is, what it is.
You gonna lie? It's just you gonna lie before the people on the date night? It
is what it is. But nevertheless, it's like we refer to ourselves as night and day. I'm night.
Because we are.
She's day.
Literally.
And that's just how we refer to ourselves because we are complete opposites. And I think it's really good that we kind of share that piece because people need to know that you don't have to be the same.
That's real.
To like really have a good marriage. And you can go through some stuff.
Great. Oh my gosh, you don't think our marriage is great?
No, I mean
you were looking like you surprised. I thought we good. We not good.
No, that ain't what I'm saying. That's not what I was listening to what you were saying. I think we have a great marriage.
Okay, just making sure we on the same page on the married in quarantine.
Oh, you already getting started. We ain't started good. You already getting started. Nevertheless, we're night and day. So you might see some different interaction between the two of us.
Yeah,
that's just what it is. I make faces with my face. Sometimes I want to say words, but it's on my face. So if you see my face, don't worry about it. I'm working through it. Yeah. But she has structure. So right now she has 5 things that she has written down. So shoot them. Like if we were the apostles, she'd be John, I'd be Peter. So kind of gives you a reference point. I'd be laying
on Jesus's chest.
I don't want to lay on Jesus' chest.
I lay on Jesus's chest.
I don't want to lay on Jesus' chest.
Every single time I spend time with him.
I don't want to lay on Jesus' chest.
Crawl up to heaven and just hold him.
No.
And like I lay in his chest and hear his heartbeat next to mine.
I mean, I'm very thankful for what he did. Worship him, serve him all the days of my life. But bro, I'm not laying on your chest.
I'm cuddling with Jesus every single day.
No, I'm good. I'm like Peter. I'm with you. Like, you know, crucify me upside down. You know, I'm that dude. I'm the dude who takes out the sword and cut off, you know, well, I almost said something. Cut off the dude's ear. You know, that's just how I am. But nevertheless, I take that away. So, go ahead. You got it.
The reason why we decided to do this is because we have noticed, just talking to married couples and reading articles on marriages, that a lot of marriages are falling apart right now because you're having really hard conversations because you are at home together and you're not used to spending this much time together. you always preach. You go, one spouse goes one way for 10 hours a day. Another spouse goes another way for 10 hours a day. And you guys are living separate lives. And this quarantine has forced a lot of you in the house with your spouse and your children, or with people that you're, going crazy with. Yeah. Okay, so that's why we decided to do this. We just felt like it'd be fun to do a date night and just to encourage the people, those of you that are married. Now, I like structure. This is part of my personality. So the very first tip that I have for you guys is you have to know the personality types and love languages of the person you are in the house with, right? So you know your spouse's love language and personality type. When my husband just said about maybe 3 minutes ago, Heather, you need to make sure you're talking into the mic, the old Heather would have cut up, because I would have been like, you ain't my daddy. Who are you talking to me? You ain't finna talk to me like that, right? You don't control me. I'm speaking into the mic, right? But because
you went there.
I had to get a little bit out.
I know. I was about to say, like, that a lot, like what you just did right there was personal.
No, it wasn't personal.
You felt that,
baby.
That came from a deep place.
Honestly, no, I don't care.
I bet.
But you're not that close to the mic, by the way.
Well, you better keep talking.
See,
you better just go on.
Because I know my husband's personality. For example, we took an Enneagram test. My husband is an 8, which is a challenger. Right? So everything I do in life, the man is challenging it.
Of course, you're supposed to challenge everything. Who doesn't challenge everything? I mean, you challenge everything. I'm that kind of person. Look, you know what? I mean, some rules are made to be broken. Just break them. It's not about, ooh, shut up. Yeah, let's go. Let's just keep going.
So he's an 8 and he's a challenger. And so he has a lot of
buck against the system.
But also he's like a commander in his type of personality. So I encourage you guys, take the Enneagram test and also take, know what your love languages are. My husband's love language is acts of service. And it's becoming more words of affirmation. So if I say something disrespectful, it's not going to work. And for him, he needs to be encouraged and built up by me.
I mean, respect is big though. I think it's big. I think it's big for men in general. All the brothers who watching right now and listening, they're like, yo, like you need to encourage me.
Yeah.
Because I need to be encouraged. And encouragement is simply, it's almost like I can cut your heart open and I'm pouring courage on the inside of you. So when a wife comes to us and says, my husband ain't got no courage, or he ain't doing nothing, he lazy, he this, he that. And it's like, well, how do you talk to him at home?
Yeah.
Maybe you're not encouraging him, meaning you're pouring courage into him, because possibly you're ripping all the courage out of him. That is discouragement. Discouragement is as if you just reached in him, you pull all the courage out of him. So how do you expect, once you beat him down all the time at home, how do you expect for him to be strong out in the streets and out in the world? It's like he is discouraged.
Yeah.
He's not getting courage, and you got to encourage that man.
And encourage that woman too, especially if that's her love
language. I knew he was
language.
about to do that because, we got to be equal.
We're not equal?
I mean, we are.
Wait.
No, I mean, that's not. No,
men and women are equal.
I know that. We're just different.
We're very different.
We're different.
So he's got a commander type personality, and I am a type A, but I'm a 1 on the Enneagram. So for those of you that are listening, you might wonder, what is an Enneagram? Just Google free Enneagram test. That's what we did. We took the test, and I'm a 1, which is a perfectionist. I want to do everything perfect. Granted, it doesn't hinder me from like doing what I know I need to do, but I like a lot of structure. So if things aren't structured, it can really frustrate me. And so the other day we had a situation happen where I felt really upset about something because my structure was broken. And I took it to my husband, and he's like, babe, I'm about to go teach Bible study, but I'm going to deal with this. Don't worry about it. I will take care of it. I know you like the structure. Yeah. And I appreciated that because I'm like, he didn't just look at me and be like, you'll be fine. Suck it up. Deal with it. He knows that I thrive in structured environments. And when the structure is broken, because ones that are perfectionists, they like control. So they like things to be perfectly done, and if it's not being perfectly done all day, then I'm like, it's got to be perfect. Right. And so he understands that. He's like, babe, and what I love about you, babe, is you literally took it off of my lap. You were like, I'm going to deal with it. Just give me a couple hours. And that was like reassuring to me because I'm like, okay, he's got it. I don't have to go behind him and be like, give me an update or whatever. I did ask him later, I'm like, hey, what happened? And he told me. but knowing and understanding your spouse's personality helps. It really helps us to understand each other better. And then and people say sometimes, oh, is an Enneagram test demonic? It's a personality test. So I like to go and, read up on the Enneagram and read up on, how they deal with the quarantine and just to understand my husband better. But that really helped me to understand his personality type and love language. And my love language is, what's my love language, baby? And don't say all of them.
But that's true. It's all of them.
What's my top 3? All right, just give me the number 1 then.
Touch. Physical touch.
Right. So being that he scored a 0 on physical touch and I scored a 1 on acts of service, we both have to be intentional about meeting each other's needs with the acts of service. And
I want to say this too. Like I scored a 0 on touch, but I took that test back in 2009.
Yeah.
2009. It's 2020. So the good thing is you got to realize in your marriage is that you got to give your spouse an opportunity to grow. And what you cannot do, like while you can learn about your spouse's, you learn about like your spouse's personality and those things, like you really want to give each other an opportunity to grow. You don't want to pigeonhole your spouse into like one little crevice, just saying, this is just how you are. Cause like I had to get that. I do it with my wife. Like, at one point I was like, okay, I can't just pigeonhole her into this. Like these things are great tools to have to kind of be able to identify this kind of person you have, the type of personality you have, but I can't pigeonhole you there. I want to be able to look outside of this and see, how do you grow?
Yeah.
Like, how are we growing? Because if we're anything that is not growing, anybody that ain't growing is either dying or already dead.
Yeah.
So we got to see how are we growing. Like for me, my number one love language was an acts of service. But like over time, I'm starting to realize like that was taken in 2009. I've matured since then. So I'm not the same guy I was. I don't think the same way that I used to think back then. So now I look at my life and I think, okay, that's what I had back then. But is there a way that I could have grown, that I could have matured, that things could have happened? So use those things as great tools, but never use that as a measuring stick to try to see your spouse's level of effectiveness. Because y'all, they at home, they arguing, like folk arguing. And I get it. Like I had asked somebody say, he was telling me about he and his wife and how they were arguing and going crazy. And he's like, it's not that I don't love her. And I was like, dude, this is for many people, this has nothing to do with love. And I know you want to be with your family. I mean, we all want to be with our family, but then you also have to ask yourself like, well, how much of this can I really take? And then people try to guilt trip you, make you feel bad because you want a break. There's nothing wrong with needing that me time. I think that me time is extremely important. I mean, Jesus took him some when he would go up to the mountaintop to go and pray. Like, I need me some time away from y'all disciples. Give me some time away from the crowd. Let me go up to the top. I'm going to pray. Leave me alone. And like, you got to have that time. And now they're just saying, stay in the house. Stay in the house. So now these small things are becoming big things.
Real.
And then you're fighting about these small things.
That's
and then
real.
The other piece of that is something that I feel like we should touch on, babe. It's like, so we've been married for 10 years. It'll be 10 years this year. And we've known each, so it'll be 13 years in total that we've kind of been kicking it. Right? Did I get that right? 12, 13? 13.
12, 13. Yeah, you're right.
I think. I don't know. But it sounds good. But nevertheless, one of the things that it took us to what? Maybe year 7, year 8? To finally deal with things that we were kind of sweeping under the rug. Because what is happening right now is that not only are we dealing with collective trauma, because we're all going through traumatic situations. People aren't working like they used to be. People losing jobs, people losing cars, people losing this, people mad at the government, people mad at this. They're not getting a stimulus check. You got child support. A lot of people are mad. People getting divorced. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's happening. So we're experiencing collective trauma. Then right along with that, with all this stuff that is happening, it's like, these issues inside of the house is like where we could have kind of hidden things because we were busy. It's like, well, I got to go to work, and after work, I got a game this weekend. I got this to do, and I'm going to this concert. I'm going to do this. We have all these things that kind of took up all of our time, and now we don't have anything to really take up that time. So now we have no other choice but to face our issues.
Yeah.
And I feel like we should talk some to that, baby. Like what was that point for us where we was like, okay, we got to deal with these things because these things are ultimately dealing with us. And we just, you know how it was. We just kind of just pushed it on the rug.
We did a lot of that.
Pushed it on the rug, pushed it on the rug until we finally was like, nah, we got to deal with this. And it was a very hard conversations.
It really was. Do you want to do the break?
No, we can.
Okay. And so we're going to jump into that right after this break. We have to do this for the podcast. Okay. And we're back. So,
so now y'all know.
This is how it works. We had some really hard conversations, but I felt like tests and trials revealed those hard conversations. And then it forced us to face each other. I feel like we live in a world where if I don't like what you did or you don't like what I did, we just leave. We just run. Yeah. Like we're not dealing with it. Like I ain't putting up with that. And because we have unresolved childhood trauma and different issues that we've not resolved in our own life, and then we get married and we look at our spouse like, you ain't gonna hurt me like so-and-so hurt me. You know what I mean? And it's like, we're ready. We're ready to run. We're ready to go. We don't want to fight for our marriage. We don't fight for nothing. Let's just keep it real. Do we fight for our marriages anymore?
Yeah.
I mean, we had to fight for our marriage.
I mean, fight for it. Like
we almost
ready to pack them bags. I was like, look, I'm out before I throw bows. Like it was sometimes we didn't know we were going to make it.
But I feel like God allowed that to expose us so we could deal with us and so we could move forward in a healthy way. Yeah. God is saying, I can't take you where I want to take your marriage if you guys are not healthy and whole.
Yeah.
And so we had to come to that place together. And
that's not easy.
Oh gosh, it's hard.
That's not easy because it requires a sense of vulnerability. Because I mean, let's be honest. Well, most marriage couples, when they go into counseling, the one thing that they all want, or at least somebody in the marriage wants, if they both want it to work, they want intimacy. There's only one way to intimacy, and that's through vulnerability. But there's only one way to vulnerability, and that is safety. The problem is that we don't understand, like, there's really one thing needed to have sex. Nakedness. And nakedness is shown in vulnerability. It's like, it was very difficult for us to be vulnerable. Like, it was very difficult for me to just be vulnerable because I had unresolved issues that I had to deal with. And it's like, you're like, well, I just want you to talk to me. I want you to talk to me. I'm like, what you want me to say? And I used to tell you, like, in the beginning of our marriage, I'd be like, yo, like, I'm going to say something. You ain't going to want to hear it.
You're not going to like what I have to say.
Yeah, you're not going to like what I have to say. And she would be like, well, I would rather you just tell me that and hurt my feelings. I'm like, you don't want me to hurt your feelings. So it'd be really bad. But we had to get to that point where I had to go and, get the help that I needed. We'll talk more about that. But really being able to say, if we want intimacy, we're going to have some vulnerability. We got to get naked. And then if we want vulnerability, we got to be like, our marriage has to be a safe place where we can be vulnerable in order to create that intimacy.
I agree. That was key. And I thank God for the hard times we went through because I felt like it made our marriage stronger and better. And I feel like we wouldn't have gotten to this point if we didn't go through some hell to get there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, granted, obviously you don't want to have to go through hard times, but I feel like the hard times really refine us. And I feel like the hard times prove, okay, are we really going to stand behind the vows that we said 10 years ago?
Yeah.
Because those vows are going to get tested. Come on, guys, especially if you're a Christian. Now I'm going to get to more of those things, but let's go to the second one. Choose your battles.
You say that all the time. I'm going to choose my battle. I'm not going to fight with you, Cornelius. I'm not fighting with you.
For what?
You're going to fight. You talking to the wall. And here I am over here crazy. I'm over here still talking like, no, you going to, She done left the whole room. She up there, moving around, making up the bed or something. I'm like, hold up. And I come down the stairs. I go up the stairs. I'm like, yo, where you at? Like, you didn't hear what I had to say? She's like, babe, I heard you, but I'm not fighting with you.
I love you.
Because the challenger, it's like, we're going to challenge this thing.
What you want for
dinner? We're going to confront it. It's good. Well, you always say it. I mean, choose, and I feel like you do a great job at choosing battles. Baby.
Yeah, I want peace in our home.
Yeah, I want peace too, but I feel like you need to go to war to get peace. That's how this is how we different. Like for me, I'm like, I want peace too, but I want peace. Like in order for us to have peace, like if there's some friction, let's fight. Then after the fight, can be peace.
Like, can we just get along? And it's funny because I'll say something. He'd be like, you trying to push my buttons. I'm like, babe, I don't like conflict with you. I don't want us to fight. I want us to be peaceful. I want us to be happy, skipping off in the wind every single day of your life. I'm not ever, ever trying to start a fight with you. And then he just be ready. And I'm like, okay. But that's me first going back to knowing my husband's personality and saying, okay, he wants to talk this out. This is what he needs. And that's important. If it's important to him, it's important to me. So something we've learned in our marriage is if this person is saying it, you have to listen. Because if I'm saying it, that means I mean it. And I love you and I'm spending time with you and I know you. And this is how it is. So I can't say, if he says, oh, Heather, you're doing this, I can't say, no, I'm not. Because he's like, but I'm telling you, you are. So you've got to love me enough to hear me. And so
you said it a lot. You were like, no, if I'm saying it to you, then that means that it's real. And I'm like, just because you say it don't mean it's real. I'm telling you that's not what it is. But here's the thing. I've had to learn over the years. Like, you ever heard of blind spots? Like, you need somebody else around you to show you your blind spots because just some things you just can't see. Yeah. And so, like, I had to get to that place, again, of safety in order to be vulnerable enough to say, okay, let me listen to what you got to say. And then she would say, babe, it's how you said that. And I'm like, well, how did I say it? And then she'll repeat it back to me.
I'll act it out.
She'll act it out how I said it. I'm like, I said it like that. And she's like, yes, you said it like that. And you said it exactly like that. I'm like, dang. Like, if you would have said that to me, like, yeah, I would have burned the whole house down. Like, I can't believe I said that. Like, that was wrong. But her being able to do that, like, really, really helped me. And it helped me to really choose those battles. And now even times now, I'm like, okay, I'll start thinking like, I'm not going to do that battle. But I don't really bring stuff up. I don't bring stuff up a lot.
I feel like you used to suppress a lot.
Yeah.
But I feel like lately you've been a lot more expressive. And I appreciate that.
Thank you, therapy.
I know, I appreciate that.
I go to therapy, by the way. So, because as you can tell, I'm Peter.
But I appreciate that about you. Yeah. That now you're like, okay, you have an issue. Let's talk it out. You have a problem. Let's confront it. Let's get to the root of it. Let's grow from this because ain't nobody leaving each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like we've learned that, okay, we're not going to divorce and divorce is not an option in our marriage. And we had to come to that place too. We said, no matter what, we're going to keep fighting for our marriage.
No cap.
No cap. Okay.
What did she put on that list?
Wait, hold on.
You said
wait. I thought cap meant like no condom.
Y'all see what I go through? Do y'all see what I go through?
Wait. What do you go through?
I'm just saying, babe. Like Heather and culture. You don't worry about it. So I just hipped her to the game of Bebe's Kids. Like what? Maybe 3 weeks ago. Like I turned on Bebe's Kids.
I don't like Bebe's Kids.
But I mean, but that, like, for me, that was a classic growing up. Like, we don't die, we multiply. Like, I like Bebe's Kids was where it was at. I mean, I forgot the comedian's name. Oh my goodness, who came up with the whole story. But anyway, like that's grew up, so, you know, with culture and stuff like that. My wife, it was just her upbringing. Like, you know, she, praise the Lord. Like,
I just feel like Bebe's Kids is a bad representation and example for African Americans. I feel like it's oppressive.
It's art.
It's oppressive.
It's art.
But we're different, so it's fine. I just feel like we should have showed them something else.
But what you talking about? It was a portrayal of what is seen and what is known. But nevertheless, number 3.
We're on the same team.
We're on the same team. We're on the same team. All right. We're on the same.
Baby.
I just went.
All right.
Nothing. We have company. Also, okay, all right. So now you go get bucked.
I'm just kidding.
Now you go get bucked. Come on, Karen. So we're all on the same team, and that means something. So we host a marriage retreat every year. Of course, we're not doing it this year, but we're
gonna do it next year.
Yeah, we're gonna do one next year. This year we're supposed to be going to Morocco, but that's been scrapped. So, like last year we went to Bali. The year before that we did a cruise to Cuba.
It was so fun. No more cruises.
Yeah, we did a cruise to Cuba and Bahamas. We've done Scottsdale, Arizona, Miami Beach, all that kind of stuff. But anyway, we call our marriage retreat We call it Fighting Together. And we take 25 couples.
It's so fun.
It's so much fun. Hey, if any of our couples who've been on our marriage retreat are out there, man, we know we love y'all, man. We miss y'all. Tell the people. But nevertheless, we call it Fighting Together. We also wrote a book together called Fighting Together, a book that is specific for married couples. So like I wrote a chapter, my wife wrote a chapter. You can almost tell when you're reading the book who wrote what because we are so different. So different. We call it Fighting Together because we had to come to the point where we're like, okay, we're different. That's okay. But we have the same foundation in Jesus Christ because that's important. And we are led by the same we're led by the same God. We're going the same direction. And here's the thing, ultimately we're on the same team, which means for me as a husband, like there's no way you can disrespect my wife and still think you have an audience with me. Like I've had people who thought that you could come to me and badmouth my wife as if you thought that you would get a good me. It's one thing to rile up the mama bear, but you're a fool if you think that now you mess with mama bear, you won't get papa bear too. It's like if you mess with the lioness and the cubs, then now you got to deal with the alpha male. And that's just not what you want to do because ultimately we're on the same team. Like even when it comes down with our kids, because I mean those little gangbusters upstairs. Like
we just talked about identity. Blessings from the Lord.
Yeah, blessings from the Lord. Like they all conspire. They come together. They're like, well, you go ask daddy because but the running joke in our house is that daddy's gonna say no. Daddy always says no.
And mommy always says yes.
Most times daddy does say no. I do say no. Most of the time I say no. It's like, can you have candy? No. Can you have juice? No. Get some water. But mommy usually says yes. Mommy says yes, we'll get it. Mommy says yes, we'll do it. Mommy says yes. But then we have to come to terms and being like, well, babe, I just said no. And she's like, well, daddy said no. But mom, you said yes, but you heard what your dad said. Or even vice versa, where, where they come and ask me and I'm like, yeah, you can stay up until 10. And Heather's like, no, I told him to go to bed. Go to bed. Because they'll try to fight you and then they'll try to come and infiltrate to destroy what is together. So you are on the same doggone team.
And I want to jump into in just a moment. Okay. And so we're back. And just for me, understanding we're on the same team, meaning like we are wearing the same jerseys. So it's not like me against you ever. It's always us and how we can work together and take on this thing together.
Right.
And we're not separated.
Right.
I think sometimes people get married and they still have a singles mindset. It's about me. I got to take care of my own. You know what I mean? Like that mindset where they're very singular. And they forget that you have God gave you this blessing, this person where you guys can come together and take on 10,000 together. Y'all are on the same team. So I challenge you, if you're listening, you feel like very divided in your home, you have to ask, like, am I fighting him as though we're on opposing teams? And I had to realize that, me and my husband are on the same team. We're fighting this battle together. Our issue is the devil and everything else that's trying to attack our marriage. My issue is not my husband. He's not my enemy. He is my husband. He's my lover. He's my friend. He's my best friend. He's my protector. We're on the same team. And so I had to get a revelation of that too.
Yeah. I'm a foe.
The attacks are spiritual and they're not physical.
So I know you came up with this list.
I was going to say that.
So
I knew you were going to. It's not so churchy.
I mean, it's true. I mean, it's great. It's true.
Jared, is it churchy?
It's.
Goodbye, Jared.
It's a little churchy.
Well, it's churchy.
I mean, it's true. I'm not saying it's not true. I'm not saying it's not true. So for all the deep people, don't come at me because I didn't.
All the ones.
I didn't send for you. So say where you're at.
So we have to understand that this flesh, it's not a flesh and blood fight. It's a spiritual fight. And I feel like at times we are taking physical means to a spiritual battle and we wonder why we are defeated over and over again. Right? Seriously. So I just feel like, how do we fight our battles in our marriage? You fight spiritually. You pray, you fast. Have you ever fasted for your spouse? Have you ever prayed for your spouse? I mean, I feel like sometimes at the beginning we pray for our spouse, then we get our spouse and we stop praying for them because we don't like them anymore. But when's the last time you prayed and got on your face for your spouse and believe God that they will, come into the knowledge of who Jesus is, or they will be obedient to the Lord? Or, I mean, I feel like at times women will get together. I don't know about men. I'm sure you can jump in and say that. But I feel like women sometimes get together and just, they vent a lot about their spouses. And I think venting, it's good. It's good to get it out sometimes. Don't get me wrong. But I feel like at times you're venting and you're calling those things that are. You're not calling those things that be not as though they are. So what I did over your life is I'm constantly confessing what I want to see in you since the moment I met you.
Jesus.
So I'm like, he sits amongst kings and presidents. He sits, he's the head and he's not the tail. Monster, he's above only. He's not beneath. He hears God's voice, the voice of a stranger. He doesn't follow it. I thank you, Lord, that you give him wisdom and insight and direction on where he's supposed to go. I pray, Lord, that he's just a priest over our household. He only has eyes for me. I go on and I just declare what I want to see over him. And I feel like we have become proficient in complaining about what we see, and we're not prophesying over what we want to see over our spouses. Jesus. Are you prophesying over what you want to see?
Dead bones.
Seriously, it could be something as simple as, my spouse doesn't work out. I pray, Lord, that you give him a desire to work out. Give him a hunger to want to take care of his body. And I'm going to share a funny testimony. He's going to laugh at me. But I read.
Hold on, what you about to share?
The closet. Okay. So what happened was.
Go for it.
My baby, he just, especially when we travel, like our closet looks like a bomb exploded on both ends. But I can't take it very long. So then I just really organize and clean my side. I remember one day I was like cleaning like 2 or 3 hours on my side, and the Holy Spirit told me to clean his side. And I said, Lord, why? Because it's going to look crazy the next day. He's not going to keep up. So I did it anyway. So I did it. And then he walked in, he's like, wow, this looks really clean. And this was like 8 hours later. And so I'm cleaning and I was just like, Lord, I just pray that, he'll keep it up. Right? Just believing by faith. About a week later, looks like another bomb went off. And I figured if I could win him over with my quiet and gentle spirit by like organizing and keeping my side really clean. So when he walks in, he gets convicted. No, that didn't work. So then I just got kind of frustrated because I'm like, Lord, why bother? So then I hired somebody to come in and organize his side again. So I figured maybe if I have a structure, then he will see where he can put his stuff and he just won't put it all over the floor and wherever else it ends up. And then another week later, it looked the same. And I remember just going to the Lord because I was about to just organize it again. But then I just felt like, you know what? I don't feel led to do that right now. So I prayed and I said, Lord, I just pray you give him a desire to just want to clean up the room. I'm not going to say anything to him, nothing. I'm just going to believe you. The next morning, my baby woke up and spent 2 hours. Hold on. And it's been 2 weeks. Look, come on, Jesus.
Won't he do it?
When God changes a man.
Say he will.
It's in here. But when we try to change our men, he'll only do it just to shut you up. But I just felt like, God, I'm going to have to really trust you with this. And that's a really small example, but I just feel like we've got to understand, like we can fight spiritually for our spouses. We can believe God. We can confess what we want to see. And yeah, that's my spiel.
I appreciate the fact that you didn't nag me about it. I appreciate the fact you didn't nag me about it. So for me, in my head, how I think, I look at my life and I think, okay, I know my strengths. And I say, these are my strengths. Whatever is in my top 20%, that's what I do. If it's in my bottom 80%, then I try to contract it out so that somebody else can do it. And I try to focus on my top 20%. The thing about it is that cleaning up my closet, as bad as it may sound to some of y'all who are perfectionists and ones, that's in my bottom 80. Yeah. And now it's like, you know what? The shirt is going right here. It didn't look right what I had. It wasn't going with the picture that I had for me. So I put it down. I put it to the side. I let it go. But, it was like, I woke up that morning. I was like, yo, I need to do this. I just need to just make this happen. And I didn't realize the whole time, like she's having this whole excited moment. She's like, oh, I'm taking the kids downstairs. Just do it, baby. Yep. Don't worry about it. I'm like, I should have known then something was up. But I had me a good time, man. I turned some of my Mississippi blues. I mean, I had some Johnny, I did some Johnny Walker, all that guys. It was amazing. So I had me a great time.
Me and all three kids downstairs. I'm like, don't bother daddy.
Yeah. And I had a great time, packed some stuff up. But now I organize it the way that I know where stuff is. So like, I know where it is. Great to have all other stuff. But, you know, I saw that to say, I'm glad you didn't nag me.
Yeah.
The Bible says 3 times. It says that one time it said that it would be better for the man to sleep in the corner of an attic. It was like a hot tin roof.
Oh yeah.
Than it is to stay in the house with a nagging wife. It'd be better for him to live out in the desert than to be in the house with a nagging wife, a nagging, contentious wife. It's like they always got to be argumentative. Why don't you ever do this? And why don't you never do this right? You never do this right. Because for me, it's like, well, like I get what you're trying to say about the closet, but for me, that's not a priority of mine. It may be one for you. Yeah. I remember when we first got married, I would walk in the house. And Heather worked from home. I worked in an office, and I would get home, and Heather would be very excited to see me. Like one time, you made a sign, and it was like, "Oh my God, look at you!
So
You're
excited.
home! Look at you! I'm so happy!"
That's my personality.
That's her personality, and I get it. Do you? And
can I do me though? Can I still make signs for you when you come home?
I don't be making those signs.
I would like to make a sign for you.
I mean, you can make a sign. You can put it up. You do you. We in this thing now. We ain't going nowhere. But it was one day I came in. I was already frustrated from work. I get out of the car. I'm trying to tell myself mentally prepare myself. My wife is going to want to talk. And, you know, my wife, she asks questions.
I do.
Her 2 questions she loves is, what's the peak and the pit of your day?
I want to know.
And like, she would always say, babe, how's your day? And I would say, long. And she would say, well, how was it long? And I was like, it was just long. And she's like, well, give me details and tell me how it was. Because she wanted to know, like, from the time I left the house,
know everything, how
things were. And I was like, I don't care. I don't want to tell you all that stuff. And then I was like, well, how was your day? And she would say, well, first, you know, I got a call. And you had to run by the grocery store. And could you believe I saw blah, blah, blah at the grocery store? Then I got in the car. Could you believe that I left the window cracked and blah, blah. And I'm like, all this stuff I don't really care about.
Land the plane, Heather.
Land the plane, Heather. So it was this one time I don't know if you remember that was in the house, and I got upset. You had cooked this amazing meal. Every meal she makes is banging, it's slamming. I mean, and she plates it really, really nice. The only thing is, like, here's the caveat: her food, amazing. She uses every dish in the kitchen.
Hey, I don't like dirty dishes. I'm not about to. I gotta start fresh.
Her priority.
Every pan's fresh.
Her priority is not washing the dishes. Her priority is making the food and preparing it. My priority is getting dressed. Where that shirt fell off at, and like, you know, organized people like, well, all you have to do is just put it back on the hanger. No, screw the hanger. Put the hanger down on the floor too. And you know what? To be honest with you, I broke the hanger when I took the shirt off because I did it in a harsh way. And it just broke. And so my closet had all these broken hangers because I guess I let the rage out on my clothes. But I got so mad at her because I was like, yo, like, why didn't you wash the dishes? And she was like, so that's all you care about? You don't care about the fact that I cooked for you and I did all these things and I wanted to make sure I looked nice for you. You got home.
Did I cry? I cried?
Oh, we're going to do that? We're going to do that. During date night, we're going to do that.
Hold on. You act like I cried. Do I cry currently?
I didn't say cry. This was when it's like a month after we got married.
Oh, okay. I probably did cry.
You definitely cried. I remember it.
I was a little emotional.
You sat there on the side of the bed and you cried. I remember sitting on the side of the bed. I was like, "The heck is wrong with you? Like, why you?" Remember, I was like, "Why are you so emotional?
Oh yeah,
like, get your feelings under control.
Like that wasn't even encouraging."
I was like, "Suck it up. Get your feelings under control."
You made me feel rejected. Thank you.
It wasn't about rejecting you. It was the same way with the closet.
But I think that's a good point to make. I was looking at it through the lens of rejection, and you were looking at it through the eyes of correction because you're trying to encourage me and help me to get better in an area.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize that.
But it was also a sense of me nagging you because I mean that you washing the dishes was always something blah blah blah. And the point I was trying to get to real quick was the fact that I remember I went back to go. I remember I was praying that night, and I was so angry. I was still upset with you. And I remember the Holy Spirit, he impressed this upon my heart. And it was that dishes are not gender specific.
Come on, Jesus.
And if you wanted,
give him an
like, if it was such a big deal for you to have the dishes clean, then why didn't you just go clean them yourself?
Come on, Jesus.
And so my immediate response was, obviously that's Satan who's saying this. So I need to talk to God. Like, obviously I'm talking to
Satan would tell you to wash the
Exactly. I mean, I feel like the Holy Spirit really pressed it upon my heart. So I went back and I was like, you know what? Dishes are not gender specific. I apologize. So when it's done, I can do it myself. Eventually, I don't do it myself. I get somebody else who can do it because it's in my bottom 80%. So I try to hire somebody else who can wash dishes. That's just what I do. Whatever. But nevertheless, I don't know how we got to that, but we're on the same team.
We're on the same team.
No, you're doing the attacks are spiritual, not physical. It's
okay.
Can I give a practical one, though?
Sure.
Communication resolves a multitude of issues.
Preach.
And a lot of times we don't do better because we don't talk to each other. And when we do talk to each other, we don't say anything that's real.
Yeah.
Like a lot of times we talk about the fruit of the issue and not the root of the issue.
It's
real. The root of the issue is like, I'm hurt. Like being very transparent with y'all. Like one thing I would tell Heather in the beginning of our marriage, I would say, I don't trust you. I said, I don't trust you.
And I didn't do nothing.
And your response was?
I didn't do nothing to make you not trust me. I ain't no cheater. I ain't no liar. What?
But the issue was that when I said that, she had, in her mind, she took it personally. Basically saying, as I said it, I didn't trust her. But me saying, I don't trust you had nothing to do with her. It had everything to do with me and my own brokenness. And the fact that it wasn't I didn't trust her, it was the fact that I didn't trust anybody and I didn't trust myself. And then to go a step further, I don't even think I trusted God.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you can put up this religious facade, like, oh yeah, I trust God. I love God. That's why religious bigots really get on my nerves. But it's like, or zealots, I guess I should say. But it's like, you can put on a show all you want to say, I really trust God. Then when something happens, we really see if you trust him or you don't.
That's real.
And me saying to her, I don't trust you. That's why I don't want to talk to you. And I would get mad. We get in arguments. I say, I don't trust you. That's why I don't talk to you. I don't tell you nothing. I don't be vulnerable with you. Because for me, I didn't see a sense of safety. And it took me time to realize that communication helps resolve those issues, but we can't really converse respectfully and have productive communication if I am not, communicating the root and not just the fruit.
I love that. And I wish I understood that year one. You know what I mean? Then I wouldn't look at every little conversation or things. I
take it personally.
I took everything personal. Like, you're rejecting me. And he's like, no, I just want to grow. But I didn't realize I struggled with the roots.
By myself. I want to go to the gym by myself.
Yeah.
I don't want you to go with me.
And that would hurt my feelings. Like, you're rejecting me.
Why don't you want me to go with you? We do everything together. No, we don't.
It's okay to have space like that from your spouse sometimes, right? It's good. It's healthy. Let's take a break really quick. Okay, and we're back. Let's go to number 5. Look at the big picture and use this time to see why God placed you guys together. We always say this. You said this once. You said, if you were ever to leave the marriage, you would have to delete your whole life because our life is so yoked together.
Yeah, I had to delete my whole life. That's a lot. That's a lot to like tear away from.
Like, our whole life we're literally one flesh. I mean, everything we have, we obviously we're never divorcing, but it's just, my whole life is like, we have our church that we planted together. We have our organizations, but both of us are kind of woven into everything that we do. And we feel like a lot of times couples find it easy to divorce and go their own way because they built nothing together.
Yeah.
What are you guys building together? What do you guys have together? Why did God call you guys together? It's bigger than just having kids and having sex. Yeah. Like, what is the big picture of why God put you with your spouse? What can you guys do together to bring glory to God? And if you're being quarantined together and you're arguing a lot, it might just be that you guys don't have purpose or vision or direction of what God wants you guys to do as a couple.
Yeah. And that's so huge. Like, that's one of the main things we like to focus on during our marriage retreats. Yeah. I honestly think it's like one of our best sessions. Besides the one that I want to do, and that's the role playing.
That was fun.
But But that's really talking about your family vision. You know, when I sit down, when I talk to men, I'm always asking them, what's the vision? I don't know. So it's like, but where are you taking your family?
That's real.
Like, have you and your wife, have y'all talked about where you're taking your family? Like in premarital, I talk about vision. I want you and your spouse to talk about vision. Where do you see us going? What do you see us doing? What do you see us building? Like first and foremost, I want y'all to have good foundational Christian principles first. I want to build you as followers of Christ, as disciples first, because ultimately that Christian character is what's going to help to sustain your marriage. But what helps to propel your marriage is the fact that y'all have something you're doing together. It's like, I'm not saying that everybody has a business, you have to do a business together. But what I am saying is like, what is the purpose? Like if I look at my strengths, look at my wife's strengths, I look at her weaknesses and my weaknesses, and often I see why God wanted this pairing.
1,000%.
Because it's just a good match. On paper, it may seem like you putting together two combustible, objects is getting ready to just kill each other. But when you really think about it, God does his best work by putting together two entities that you would think don't go together. And then there's some friction, but after he melts that thing down and you go through enough pressure, it really begins to mold and melt. And now I think about our life and I'm like, man, what we've created, what we've been able to build together, we did it together. And I know so many couples, man, they're like, well, I'm going to build my thing. You're going to build your thing. We're going to just keep doing our own thing. It's like, you got to ask yourself, what's easier? Is it easier for you I build my thing over here, she builds her thing over here, and then we kind of try to come together? Like, that's not really one. All you're really doing is it's almost like you're building this skyway bridge from one building to the other building. That's not really oneness. It's just connectivity.
It's real.
If you really want to make that one, then ultimately you're going to have to merge those two buildings together. Then if you don't merge those two buildings together, it's like what my wife and we did, we didn't have anything when we got married. So it's like, okay, we're just going to start from ground level. Here's the vision. Here's the mission. Like, our vision for our family is fairly simple. Like we believe in this pervasive, eternal hope, and that's what we want to give to people. That's just our vision for the entire Lindsey family. Our mission is that we want people to know God, to gather together to hear the word of God so they can go and make a difference. That's the mission of our family. It's always been the mission. Our church is founded on that mission. Pinky Promise is founded on that mission. Man Cave Society is founded on that mission. That is the mission that we have. And so everything we do grows out of that. Right now, we want you not only to know, we want you to know God. We're gathering together right now so you can hear this, you can grow, you can grow and go and make a difference. That's what we desire to do. That's our mission.
Yeah.
But what are y'all doing? It's like if you look at your marriage is an organism, but you got to have some organization. And one thing I'm proud that you did early on, and you really stuck to your guns with this, was date day. Yeah. She was like, no, we need to have a date day every week. And I was like, dude, we're always together. We sleep in the same bed. What else we got to talk about?
We work from home.
Like, what else we got to talk about? I ain't got nothing else to tell you. But this took some years. It took years for me to get here, but I was finding like, oh, dang, we ain't got no partnership with them. Get these people all like, business. We ain't got no partnership. I mean, but Essence, if you want to hit us up, just let me know, pimp. But
that's real though.
It took me years to finally get to that place where I was like, man,
it was driving me up the wall.
But man, we needed this. Just like, I mean, you could tell them even about like the trips we take. And like, I never wanted to go on the vacations.
And then he would complain when we get on the vacation.
Well, I mean, not necessarily. But tell him why.
Because at one point, he's not like this anymore, but he looked at it as though responsibility.
Because it is responsibility. How's it not responsibility?
Because he's like, oh, babe, a bill is responsibility.
And
I'm not a bill.
You're not a bill, but I'm your husband. I want to protect you. So we were in Mexico, and she wanted to go to like this flea market, and I was like, babe,
I love flea markets. I grew up going to them.
I was like, babe, like where we were at a particular time, I said, I don't feel safe. So while she's just shopping around and just kind of looking in the flea market and picking up this little trinket, this and that, I'm freaking out the whole time because I'm looking around. I want to make sure I'm cognizant of my surroundings. I'm looking every person in their eye. I'm watching every person who walks by. I want to know where the car and the driver is. Ain't nobody snatch them up. Like, I feel like it's my responsibility to have a sense of protection.
I feel like you watch too many of those drug cartel movies.
No, but it wasn't just drug cartel. I mean, I do that in London.
That's true.
Like we walking around on Oxford Street, and I'm like, baby, like, you know, it's a lot of people right now.
Pay attention,
like
Heather.
In New York, I'm like, babe, pay attention. So I have you to get in front of me, or sometimes really crowded, I tell you to grab hold of my shirt, or let me grab hold of you, and then stand right behind me, and then I'll plow the way through, and you just follow me. And I got to look back. I'm like, you there? Like, we good? Like, let me hold you. Let me make sure, because somebody. Like, I just want to make sure I'm there.
Always in protective mode, which is
always
good.
In protective mode.
But sometimes I'm like, relax. We're at the beach. You know,
I'm learning how to do that. My therapist is helping me do that.
We have the ocean in front of us, so we don't have to be protected. I'm not going in the ocean right now.
I don't want to go in the ocean because the ocean has sharks.
I love the ocean.
And you can drown in the ocean because the waves can take you all the way back and you can drown. You get on a boat and
you can drown in a bathtub, babe.
But I'm about to say who drowns in a bathtub, but
exactly.
I mean, you know, I'm just saying. It's larger. The ocean's larger.
I appreciate your protection and that you're always thinking big picture. Like, you're always big picture, and I'm in the details.
You are in the details.
I'm trying to, and I feel like God paired us together. Another reason to bring out some of that fun in you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In that area.
That adventurous side. She's more adventurous than I am. So yeah. We were in Puerto Rico at El Yunque Mountain, and like she wanted to go to the waterfalls, have all that kind of stuff. I'm the kind of brother, I'm like, yo, if we spend a lot of money on the room, if we got a nice room, why are we leaving it?
Because we're in a new place and we did not come all the way here.
I'm not a tourist type of person. I don't care what the Eiffel Tower looks like. I've seen it on a picture.
Oh my gosh, you're not gonna take me to Paris and take me to the Eiffel Tower?
What you want to go to the Eiffel Tower for? I can pull it up on my phone.
No, I want to go there and I want to get a kissing picture in front and I want to post it on Instagram.
You got to be kidding me. Are you serious right now? You serious right now? You really want to go to the Eiffel Tower?
Yeah, I've been telling you I want to go to Paris since how long?
I didn't know you wanted to go to the Eiffel Tower though. Like we don't really do tourist things.
Babe, in Paris, I want to go to the Eiffel Tower.
Are you serious?
And I want
I've never been to the Statue of Liberty, but I never want to go.
But I want to book a photographer and I want to do a full photo shoot.
Is that why you want to go to the Grand Canyon?
No.
Why'd you want to go to the Grand Canyon?
Because it's beautiful and I want to see it.
It ain't nothing but it's just a big crater.
Baby,
it's just rock.
I'm adventurous. I like to see different parts of the world.
See, like for me, I feel like it's a waste of time. You just going like to look at it, like, oh my goodness, it looks nice, and then I'm like, all right, let's go.
Okay, so there's an adventure side of me, and the amazing thing is for our 10-year anniversary this year, 10 years,
10-year anniversary,
we are going on a road trip. We're gonna fly to Vegas and go on a 4-hour road trip, and I'm so excited.
We are.
That's what you told me you wanted to do. I've been planning this whole thing. Are you acting really surprised tonight?
I don't remember. Oh, I do remember. I remember. Okay, I remember. It took me some time to get there. But I'm there now.
Okay, so we're gonna rent a car and drive 4 hours to a hotel. And we're going to go through the Grand Canyon, and I cannot wait. I'm so excited.
Hold on. So you actually got what you wanted the whole time?
Totally.
That is crazy.
First of all, we're supposed to be in Thailand.
Do that.
No. Because of Corona, we're not going to Thailand. I would have rather gone to Thailand than to Vegas. I'm sorry, babe, and seen a canyon. There's no comparison. I'm sorry.
That flight to Bali was like, woo. I was like, yo, land the plane, bro.
Yeah. I agree.
Just landed right on the water. But hey, I feel like we should role play. We should like show the people. Hey,
really
role playing is
real quick before role play. I want to say this one quick thing. I feel like our big picture and our vision is what glues our family together to keep going past the attacks, past the hard times, past, deaths in your family, past the frustrations. I feel like that is what helps us to stay focused on what God wants us to do, because we know that there's like generations waiting for our obedience, and there's generations waiting for your obedience as well. It's like, how many people would be affected if we allowed the enemy to come in and tear our marriage apart?
If we would have quit, then we wouldn't be able to be here right now to encourage you.
Yeah.
And I think one of the last big arguments we had, we finally settled it. And my therapist even asked me the question. He was like, so why, like, what stops you from just getting a divorce? Because, I mean, anybody can just make that decision.
Yeah.
And I told him that at this point, my marriage is now a Jesus cause. Like, my marriage is a cause for the gospel's sake. So this is like bigger than us now. Like, at this point, this is bigger than us. And you have to look at your marriage as though this is bigger than us. This is bigger than just my kids. This is bigger than just my legacy. This is bigger than just my community. Like, there's a nation that legit is waiting for us to just be obedient to what God is telling us to do. And if the only thing is we go through all this hell, and I'm not telling you it's easy. I mean, heck, my wife and I, we are not perfect at all. We are so not in that direction.
I am perfect.
Yeah, I call her.
I'm kidding.
I actually call her Perfect Penelope because I'd be like, what? Like, I mean, at some point, I've lived with this woman for 10 years, and I'm like, at some point, like, I need to find something, you know. I mean, it's some content there, but nevertheless, you know. But it's like you make sure your marriage is a gospel cause.
Yeah.
Like, when it gets that deep, like, you in this thing for the long haul.
Okay. All right. So you said you wanted to do some role playing.
I mean, yeah, because we always do it on marriage retreats, and I think it's heck of fun.
Okay, I'll go first.
Hold on. So what's the?
Oh, you'll know quickly.
And here's the thing. So we encourage like married couples to do this. So like when y'all get off of this, like when y'all get into bed, why don't you do role playing? Because it gives you a good opportunity to kind of see how your spouse is. I think it's really fun. We're gonna do this and
we'll wrap up.
Yeah, wrap up.
Oh my gosh. I don't know what I'm going to eat for dinner. Nobody's thought about what I'm going to eat for dinner. Nobody cares about what I'm going to eat for dinner. I don't know what I want.
Oh my God, Cornelius. Why are you being so I mean, what do you want? What do you have a taste for?
You're supposed to tell me what I want to eat.
Okay, Cornelius, I have some mushrooms in the refrigerator, and I have like some other stuff that really doesn't have any taste. It's like completely vegan.
That is not true. I give you meat options. Keep going.
Hold on, we're supposed to be role playing.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
And I don't know, what kind of meat did you pick up from the grocery store, Cornelius? I don't know what's in the fridge.
I don't want any of that. You're supposed to be a mind reader, Heather.
I'm not gonna just read your mind, Cornelius. I mean, do you want me to, okay, you know what? I'll just order something, and then you could just get it at the door and just don't worry about it, okay? But don't just sit up there and act like this. I gotta worry about the kids. I got the kids over here. I gotta feed all them different meals. Taylor needs some food. Logan needs to eat, and Roman wants to breastfeed all day long. And now you're over here, like, what do you want? Like, what do you want? Just come on, Cornelius. You gotta help me out here.
I am more important than anybody else in this house because I am your husband. So you can tell those kids are not going to be in the house our whole life. They're going to move out and I'm still going to be hungry.
Okay, Cornelius. All right. I got it. Okay, but what do you want? Okay, we've gone through all of this. Now, what do you want to eat? Do you have a taste for Chinese?
No.
Okay.
I don't want that. That's trash.
What about
China? I don't eat China stuff.
What about that's not what I said. What about Italian?
Nope. Pasta? Heather. Round is a shape and I'm round. Stop offering me unhealthy stuff that's gonna make me round.
Okay, well, there's some salmon in the fridge in the fridge. I'll just make you some salmon, okay?
I don't want salmon. I don't eat salmon anymore. I'm on a diet that does not allow for me to eat salmon, white food, sugar. I can't eat any of that. You're supposed to know what diet I'm on this week, Heather.
I do not do that. Okay.
Yes, you do.
Do I do that for
Yes. You're like, I don't eat red meat anymore. Heather, hand me some of that bison. But babe, I thought you said, Heather, I said him because I'm grown. I eat what I want in this house because I'm grown.
I have never said, I probably said that because I am grown. I'm eat what I want. That's facts. That's fact. All right, y'all. That's been date night. we got. Did you want to take any questions from there?
Okay,
no?
So we had a couple questions from people. They asked about the marriage retreat. So we're not doing a marriage retreat this year. Next year we'll do one. Now the thing is, if you're watching on Facebook, you have to make sure you subscribe to this. Now, if you're on my Facebook page, if you just scroll down after this is over, click out of it, and you click on the register for date night, the Married in Quarantine session, you will get emails totally free. Our date nights will always be free. And we'll also send you marriage retreat information when we have it. We don't have it right now. We're just kind of debating where we're going to go. But make sure you guys are subscribed, because I feel like we should do these more. What do you guys think? What do you guys think?
Well, that's what we were talking about. We was like, yo, we can do these. We can call them date nights. So then, like, y'all can get together. You can get your glasses of communion.
Wait, why are we drinking? We don't need to drink.
I'm talking about communion. I'm talking about they wanted to partake of the blood.
Okay, I love the blood of Jesus. No, I saw that 8. So 8s don't have the highest morality rate.
What are you talking about? Morality? I have morals, okay? I have morals.
1s don't lie.
Oh my gosh.
We do.
Oh my gosh. That's I'm sweating because there's lights, and these lights are just.
I know.
Hakata. But nonetheless,
okay, so people are loving him. All right, when's the next date night?
You can like, you know, sit down with your loved one, with your spouse. And here's the thing: if you're watching this by yourself because your spouse want to watch it with you, I mean, you know what my wife said. You know, pray for him. And
so we are going to do these more. This will be saved on the Lindsey's TV YouTube channel. And I don't know, I just want to build up.
The exciting thing is that we're actually coming out with our own channel. Yes. So y'all are the first to know this.
But we don't have any information.
Well, they're not supposed to get all the information now. It's just a teaser. We're coming out with our own channel.
Oh, they went and got a babysitter and everything so they could be here.
That's good. See, people got babysitters, so they can come and do this. You can come and chill, come and sit down, come and have a good time. If they got any questions, I mean, we got like 5 minutes. If they have any questions or anything like that.
How was the date to Target?
The date to Target?
Yeah, we are saving this live. Don't worry.
How was what?
The date to Target was a disaster today.
How was it a disaster? We actually had a.
No.
Okay. How? Pray tell, madame.
I was so excited about our date day.
Okay, as was I.
And we get in the car, and I'm ready to ask questions or listen to a sermon, and you say,
"Hey, we did all that talking yesterday. Why do we have to talk today?"
Because it's date day.
Okay, but what did got to do with the price of tea in China?
Okay, so first of all, we need to not go on date day before 10 a.m. because you are not a morning person. We need to wait next time and go at noon, where you will be more excited about this date day. I want to hold hands and walk through Target. Just in the parking lot, not inside, because I don't want him walking with me throughout Target.
Do you hear this? Do you hear this rationale? She wants me to walk with her. We're going to have all this intimacy until we get to the location.
I don't want him walking around.
And then we have to separate. Not only am I quarantined with and isolated with a mask and everything else, I'll walk in. I mean, you cough in the store and people think that you got something. So it's like, not only are we like, I'm mostly holding my breath as I walk through the place. It's like, it's not your ideal place to really go anywhere.
But in my head, I figured, we'd hold hands and we would
you didn't want me to walk.
You
didn't want me to walk with you. You made me get my own basket in Target because you said you didn't want me to bother you.
Whoa. I didn't say bother.
I mean, basically.
I don't talk like that. I don't say bother.
That finger.
You're never a bother to me.
This is Roman. This is for Roman, Logan, and Taylor, not for your husband. Whatever you stick at me goes back to you. There you go. Look up.
So my darling husband, because he's an 8, because I recognize his personality, which was number 1, right? He is a challenger. So he's going to challenge every item I put in the basket.
Because you don't need it.
Wait. Exactly. So in his head, I don't, but in mine, I do, because I always have a plan. I always have a plan for everything that I do. Everything is structured. I have plans. I will be researching some stuff at 2:00 in the morning for hours, and I know exactly what I need to get from Target, and I had a list. Did you have a list?
I didn't need a list because I didn't go in there for anything.
Okay, so I had a list, and he would challenge the items on my list, and I wanted to be together until we got inside. And I felt like in that moment, he needed to go his own direction. And then he started rushing me. So I am browsing the aisles of the Mongolian section, and I'm getting a call from talking about, I got snacks. It's time to go. We just got here.
It was time to go. But it wasn't like you didn't want to hang out in the building. Like that's what the Rona like it's like it's just waiting for you. Like it's like
I wore masks and gloves. How come you didn't wear gloves?
Who? They said, look, the CDC, they said don't wear gloves. They said, first they said wear gloves. Then they said don't wear gloves. Then they said the virus, they said the Rona was at least 6 feet away. Then they came back and said it travels 13 feet away, as if the Rona has a measuring stick and says, I'm going 13 feet and I'm done. So it's like 6 feet, 6 inches, 6, whatever it is. So it's like 6, then it went to 13. Then they said wear gloves. They said don't wear gloves. Then they said wear a mask. Then they said, well, you can't wear a scarf because it's still going to go through the scarf. And you got to have a certain type of mask. So if you just wear a shirt, then you got to wear denim, but it has to be denim 32, not denim 74. And it's like, I'm confused. I'm confused on what to do. So no, I didn't wear gloves because I feel like the gloves is cross-contamination because you get out the car, you put on your gloves, walk inside, then you touch your phone, and you touch everything else. Then by the time you get to the car, you forget you got your gloves on, you touch your door handle.
This is my life.
You touch your door handle. No, this is the truth. Then you get inside, you got your groceries, you got your stuff, you touched all on the bag, put the bag in the car. Then I'll tell the people you almost killed everybody because you put Clorox on you rub the Chick-fil-A bag down because every grocery that come in the house, she had to clean.
You better believe I'm rubbing everything
But then
down.
the CDC came out and said don't clean your groceries.
That's because people were ingesting the poisonous bleach and stuff from the food.
But no, but I'm saying we got Chick-fil-A and we got into a little spat because I'm hungry. I'm like, yo, let's get the food. And my wife is like, no, I have to clean it. And you took like a thing and like you rubbed it down. I was like, yo, what are we doing?
I was trying to keep you alive. I'm here to make it all make sense, babe.
It ain't make sense to me. It makes sense to me. I felt like when I was in the house.
So can our date next Friday just be a little more exciting, like where we hold hands and we listen to sermons and we enjoy each other?
I don't listen to a sermon though. I'm a pastor. Like that's what I do. It's almost like asking a doctor, like, can we go to the hospital? Like, I mean, I love God.
I like to do things where we're focused on our marriage.
Okay, we can be focused on our marriage. Can we listen to like cool music or something? Like, why we gotta listen to a sermon? I don't listen to
because for me, I want to grow. I want to get better. Let's go.
But that's a process. We're gonna be together forever. We got a long time. We good. And then if I go before this, the insurance money's good. You're gonna be fine. I'm telling you, it's good. We have great insurance coverage. Shout out to our insurance agent.
Is this going to be once a month or
twice
a month?
Somebody did ask about, I don't know. Do you really want to, I don't know. Should we make the decision now? Should we talk about it?
I think we're going to talk about it as long as you're on the emails. If you got the email, obviously, to sign up for this, we will send out the next one. My guess is it'll be maybe monthly or something. We'll see. It's hard for us to commit sometimes to those things because
right now, our schedule is how it is. But if the Rona wasn't here, I don't know. We didn't have the time to do this.
It might be hard because we might be preaching or something somewhere. But we believe hardcore in marriages and seeing marriages get better.
We did have somebody who asked the question: do we offer counseling? I'm going to say something like, so my wife and I, we had a marriage retreat we were going on in June, but ultimately it got canceled at the beginning of June. One of the things I think that's really helped our marriage as well, like I've mentioned a couple of times in our talk, is the fact that I took it upon myself, or I needed to. I have a therapist, and before both of us go, I was told by my pastor I needed to go alone, and I think I've had 7 or 8 sessions with him so far.
Yeah,
and it's been amazing.
It's been amazing.
Yeah. The pride in us men gets us to that. It takes that point we feel like we don't need help, and we don't want to hear anybody tell us what we need to do. But I didn't realize some of the issues, some of the trauma that I had as a child has still followed me to as an adult. So a lot of my trust issues, a lot of my anger issues, a lot of all that stuff, I needed to get that out. I needed to get a healthy perspective of how to deal with it. So I'm a pastor. I'm a firm believer. I believe in prayer. I believe in laying on of hands. I believe in all that kind of stuff. But the issue is you need somebody to help you out with that brain, to help you out with that conscious and that subconscious. You need somebody to help you to shift through all that trauma. Because you got some trauma in your life, baby. Like the reason why you like Real Housewives, you like that kind of stuff. You like the reason why you like drama and you attracted to drama is because you got drama in you and you need to get some help. So do we offer it? It's on a case by case basis. A lot of times we have to really be together to make that choice. Because it takes a lot out of you.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Because you get one of them don't want to do it, the other one does want to do it. Then they get mad at us because we tell them to do something, and they don't want to talk to us no more. So it takes a lot. So
we have another question. Would you guys mentor or counsel other couples? We've actually played around with that idea of doing like a mentorship for other couples. But
I'll tell you what we can do is, babe, if they're already signed up to the emails, if you're already in the group, you've already signed up in emails. We'll get together and we'll talk, and we can see if we can even create something like that where these couples can kind of get, I don't know, like a bi-monthly type of thing where we're doing something like this for them. I don't know. We can do something like that.
We can
really
figure it out. We can talk it out more.
We can talk it out. It could really work with our schedules. So, because we got kids, we got 3 of them.
Yeah,
and they babies, and they come first.
What is your biggest lesson in your marriage and advice for couples?
You want to go first?
Yeah, I think my biggest advice and lesson for your marriage is give your marriage a chance to develop and grow. Don't look at other people's marriages and say, well, they're on year 10. You need to be like this, this, and this. People are growing at different levels, and they're going through different seasons together. There's nobody like your spouse. Nobody has the DNA of your spouse, and nobody has your DNA. And you guys are 2 new people that can make a mark and a new legacy and change generations. So for me, I've learned, because I'm one of those people that think like way too big down the line around the corner, and you know that my mind will go there. For example, if I see he's nagging me, then I'm like, you're going to be nagging me my whole entire life. And that's not the case. He'll grow, he'll change, he'll get better. So for me, I just understand, you know what? Maybe we're not there right now in our marriage, but we'll develop and we'll get better in that area over time. Let me focus on working on me and believe God that he'll work on him.
I think mine would be, so I grew up the good boy, very clean cut. You know, I was always the good boy. And I grew up with this mindset, just be good, be a good boy, be a good boy. So I did, all my outward actions were always set to just being the good boy. But then I had a lot of private actions that were not indicative of what I portrayed publicly to everybody else. I have finally gotten to that point now where I'm comfortable enough with being able to really be authentically me. And so I would say in your marriage, don't think that you got to be perfect.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to mess up. Things are going to happen. Y'all won't get it right. You can read, we read all those books, babe. We did the marriage counseling, premarital counseling. We did all this stuff, and we still got in an argument the first day we walked in our house for my honeymoon.
Well, he got into an argument with himself. It wasn't. I'm just kidding.
Oh, you know I was about to go off. I was about to say, oh, hold on.
I moved all his clothes into another closet, which was wrong. I should have communicated and asked him if that was okay. So yeah, you're right.
That's the first time you've ever said that.
Wait.
That's the first time. That's the first time you've ever said that.
Really?
And yeah, I mean, I've never heard you apologize because of it, but I mean, if you wanted to.
Have you been holding on to this for 10 years?
No, I never. I thought about it right then, but I mean, if you wanted to apologize for it.
Babe, well, I apologize for moving your clothes without talking to you.
Wow, I forgive you.
I forgive you. It's been 10 years.
No. I've completely let it go.
Okay.
I've completely let it go. But that's so dope. You did that.
You're so cute.
But you don't have to be perfect, and be authentically you in your marriage. And here's the thing: don't try to change your spouse.
That's real.
Like, that's the worst thing you can do. Like, remember like how the two of you met. It's like, the worst thing you can do is like trying to change this person. Like, I wish you would be more like this. Like, the worst thing you can do is try to compare your spouse to some other person. Like, I wish you'd be like this pastor. I wish you'd be like this woman. I wish you'd be like this person. Where I'm from, I'd be like, well, go get the dude then. Like,
say the word you was gonna say, baby.
Go get the nigga then. That's what I said. Go get him then. Like, that's not me. I'm not him. I am authentically me.
My husband.
And I'm not in a popularity contest. I'm not trying to win people over. I don't care if you follow me. You don't have to like me. None of those things matter to me, because I'm authentically me. And in our marriage, we create the safety of being authentically us.
Yeah.
And create this sense of what's the word I want to use? it's like leniency where we're like, okay, you're going to be you, I'm going to be me. And we have to remind each other, babe, I'm being me. Now, I want to be disrespectful in being me. That's not what I'm saying. But I am saying we give each other the leeway to grow so we don't have to just pretend like we're just perfect.
And I don't want to walk on eggshells. Like, I want to be myself.
Yeah, and that's fine. You should be yourself. So like when you blast, what's that song you always listen to? That one song with the Kara girl? The Blessing. She'd be blasting the blessing and blasting it. I don't the song is what it is, not my favorite. But like I'll blast my music and then, she'll get her headphones. She put her headphones in, which is mad dope. Like she does her thing, I do mine. But we do what we do, and our marriage doesn't have to be this perfect picture that you've kind of created in your head. And I know zealots, they don't get stuff like that because they're like, well, this is what the Bible say, this is what this say, but half the crap you preach, you don't follow anyway. So it's like, you have to be authentically you and do what is great for your marriage while still keeping that foundational truth that Jesus Christ is Lord and Savior, and the perfect work he started in you, he gonna finish it.
I love that. We got a lot of questions about Pinky Promise Conference and Man Cave Conference. And yeah, we're still on. They actually opened up Georgia today. So I'm sure in another 4 months we'll be fine.
Yeah, but and here's the thing. We're constantly meeting with the hotel. We're constantly meeting with city officials. We're constantly meeting with people to really ask the question, what is this stuff going to look like? Because I know people are wondering, like, what is that? What's going to happen? What's going to happen? And the last word that we got back was, don't cancel anything yet. And
because you're still under contract.
Yeah, unless something happens. I mean, we're under contract for what we do, but unless something happens and they come back and they say, no, you can't do this, then we'll definitely make that change. But as of right now, trust me, when we know, we're gonna let y'all know. It's not like we're trying to keep it on. We don't want to hurt anybody. When we know that it's safe, we're going to definitely go. But right now, we've been told that we're good to just keep going until we're told to pull the plug. So now you know. Well, I guess one more question and we're done.
Well, I was going to wrap it up just because we have to get back to we have a sitter too.
We have kids?
Yes. Oh. Our sitter is very tired. So I want to be respectful of her time.
Did she get on here and say that?
I just told her an hour and we're an hour and 20. So I want to be respectful.
For the sitter.
So we just want to thank you guys for joining us. And you can find me on social media. I'm Mrs. Heather Lindsey on Facebook, and I am Heather L. Love on Instagram. And also, if you have not signed up to get these emails, you guys, to come to our date nights, and we'll announce the next date night probably tomorrow, or actually Monday or Tuesday. So check your emails, and we're going to make sure you have a date so you can get a sitter too. But you can check our link in our bios to sign up to make sure you're getting the emails so we can update you on marriage retreats and our next date nights. Yeah.
All right, y'all. We love y'all.
Maybe you didn't say yours. This is Cornelius.
Oh, I thought you said it for me.
No.
On Twitter, because I tweet not often. This is Cornelius. On Instagram, I am This is Cornelius. On Peloton, bro. If you on Peloton, hook a brother up. This is Cornelius. Pretty much on anything. I am This is Cornelius. That's Alexa, play Meeting in My Bedroom by Silk. All right, y'all. We love y'all, man. Good night.